All right, and here we are, folks. The moment we've all been waiting for, the best of five finals from the 2023 Scrabble Players Championship, brought to you by NASPA from Las Vegas, Nevada. The first player to three wins here will be crowned our champion. Josh will be going first simply because he comes in with the better record. So Josh getting to go first in games 1, 3, and if necessary, 5, with Joey to go first in games 2 and 4. And with that, Josh is drawing his first tile. And what a better way to start than a blank on the first draw. Has to feel a little bit like fate for Josh as he pulls AEIN.
Oh
I
my
blank
God, the second
blank.
blank too.
Wow. So could not ask for a better opening draw than that if you're Josh. Two blanks on the first turn. He'll be bingoing for 62 for sure. I do wonder how much time he'll spend trying to optimize this rack, come up with the best or coolest or most interesting bingo versus just kind of picking one of the 62-point options. Jared, anything standing out to you? So if I'm Josh, I'm looking to avoid putting an I there if I can help it. And it looks like he's maybe going with aniline, Aniline would be my guess. Maybe asinine here. We'll have to confirm with our
Could
crew on the
also
ground.
be anodyne, maybe. Aniline would be nice. It would give that N where there's already an N on the board. The other thing he wants to consider here is any word he plays, he has to be 100% of the hooks. There's no reason to put down a word where you're not sure if it takes an S, a D, if it doesn't take any hooks. So we'll get our producer, Christian K, who's been doing such a great job with this broadcast, to let us know what the blanks have been designated
And he's
as we look
confirmed it is NL. Aniline
NL.
is the play. N and L are the blanks.
So he really accomplished all those things that we said that he should. And before we have a chance to look at Joey's rack, he's going to make a very strong play here of knight, and it holds QU, which has pretty nice synergy itself.
Yeah, the Q, the worst tile in the game, according to everybody. And yet, if there's anything you want to do with it, you can hold a U. That takes it from the worst tile in the game to roughly neutral. As Josh, again, going to bingo this game. He's drawn into Painted, which does not play, but he'll have two playable bingos here. Patinaed, Patinaed, and Pinated through the N. Patinaed, the highest scoring bingo. He can also play the 7 Patined, Patined.
I think maybe patined, if that's pronounced properly, shuts the board maybe a touch more, although where he's playing patinaed here, it's really only floating out an E and a D, and it also takes out the double-double to at least some extent, unless there's a disconnected double-double. So I think this looks like a really nice placement and a really nice play. And I also like that he didn't use too much clock here.
Yeah, so a bingo and a bango for Josh to begin these games, both rather pedestrian finds, but if you're Josh, you will absolutely take that start to this best of five finals. And Joey holding on to QU, and it looks like out of this turn, he may have to hold QU yet again. I think you play Fem, you take your points, and that's what Joey electing to do here. I agree with this decision.
Yeah, great decision. This is clearly the play, I think. Ha would leave still UW, so I understand why he went with was. People get really attached to those S's, but Josh has a big lead here early. There's three more S's in the bag. He wants to get rid of those W's. It might seem like a counterintuitive play, but it actually makes a lot of sense, I think.
So, Jared, would you play the Z bomb here, or would you drop Quired?
I would drop Quired. Like you said, because of that spot to play Zed and Za, the Z has a lot of strength on this board.
Josh can't do anything here but UGH, ugh, as he gets hit for 60 points. Ugh fitting nicely between Patanud and Knight in UT, AG, and FEH. 32 points, cleans up this rack better than most of his other options. He's got to spot this play. No doubt the best play in my eyes. And yet I think he's missing it here. And Joey has another interesting decision. ZA fits certainly on top. Z and AM is 52, but he can also play COME, COME, in that same spot Josh just missed UG, making ICH, NOT, AM, and FEE for 40. COME would also retain the Z, so he can play ZA next turn. But Za also holding COME, so he can play COME next turn. I'm not sure what the right move there. but he's going to hold a lot of points next turn with either one of those plays. Joey electing to go with the ZA, and we'll see if he notices and plays Com next turn, or if he draws something better. CEIMOOE, yeah, that's not going to be better. And do you put the S at the end of UG? UG itself is
Yeah.
32, but with the S, it does take an S, and that makes it 48. I do think this is a great choice here by Josh. Maybe not seeing it last turn, or perhaps he saw it and forewent it. Chat also pointing out FUD sets up his H as ED takes a back H. So maybe Josh, deciding to be patient, holds those tiles and sees if he can cash in more for the H. He passes up on Squeg here, but that's got to be correct. He holds the last U. That Q is still his to use, and scores 48 points now. So clever stuff from Josh. So does Joey score 30 or 32 right now, but hold 4 vowels and a consonant with a play like co-ed or mead? It looks like that is what he's going to elect to do. This EEIMO leave, though, is going to need at least 1, probably 2 consonants to give Joey good plays next turn, but he will score now 30 points. Jared, if you were Josh, would you play oblique or would you play something more conservative like quit?
I would be conservative because I'm not confident on those hooks, and I know that Joey would be much more likely to know the hooks than me.
Yeah, so oblique scoring 15 more for Josh there. A quick Quackle simulation shows on average, Joey is going to score 22 more next turn after Josh netting just 15 more. But then Josh to score about 12 more on average after oblique. So Quackle very much a fan of the play of oblique in terms of scoring and getting ahead, but actually says quit helps him retain his lead more in the long run. Jared, how would you play out of this rack?
I wouldn't do what he's doing here with I. I liked impone maybe as the option there. I think one of the things to remember is that when there are 2 blanks that he'd have to find to make the parallel play to, they're very hard to see and consider. Josh is going to waste no time here. He gets bloodier down. That's a big bingo for him. He already had the lead. But thankfully for Joey, he gets hit with a bingo, but he's going to score back with nearly a bingo score himself, playing the French word against the French-Canadian je.
Josh now, I think the very straightforward play of oily needs to come down here. He could also consider Pily, P-I-L-Y. It is 6 more points, but A-E-I-O as a leave could yield a lot of trouble for him. Looking at the unseen pool to Josh, you got to think about vowel consonant ratio. There are 13 vowels and 22 consonants, but I don't think that's quite consonant heavy enough to justify 4 vowels here. I like this play of oily. I don't think there's anything else to do here.
And for Joey right now, I'm a bit concerned about his chances because both blanks are gone, 2 S's are gone, the QZJ are gone. So he's going to really need to come down to a natural bingo because there's not too many good tiles left in that bag except for the X and 2 of the S's to really help his chances.
It's tough to get bingos down aside from that one spot. So if I'm Joey, a Boma is a nice play, a great equity play, but this builds a wall on a board where you may need 2 bingos to catch up. Not sure how I feel. I think I would have looked for other options to open this board. A play like a Timpana through the disconnected P in, or a play like Riata from the R and Bloodier. I think maybe better options to give him more control of this board later on.
It's going to be a tough stretch here for Joey to try and get back in this game, but I like what Josh is doing here, using a bit more clock. We've seen these suggestions come from the chat where maybe if players had taken a bit more time, they might have found it. Both players still have quite a lot of clock yet left, so a couple of those past turns, maybe it would have been advisable just to use a couple more minutes.
Yeah, I certainly agree with that. But Josh, likely with these one-tile fishes, what all top players do is look at every possible one-tile draw and calculate the percentage that they're going to hit. So Josh, choosing to play between the P or the B, likely feels that this leave is going to hit more. I'm not going to take the time right now and run through every option, but Josh will draw into unplayable bingos of caliber or caliber, depending on the spelling. ER or RE both are valid. And Joey, compelled to open this board, could give him a spot, but with the rack this bad, I think we might actually just see Joey exchange in this situation. Yeah, I see four unplayed R's, so Joey could draw into a play like Roan, Roan, to that N. But, now we're thinking 2 turns in advance. We've got Val trouble. We need a score. We need to continue trying to keep this board dynamic. There's a lot for Joey to think about. I wonder if this play of Riot is the right thing to do. You have to score a little bit now and just kind of pray that you draw 3 consonants. And that's actually a good possibility, as there are only, 6 vowels unseen to Joey out of 27 tiles. Josh's blocking efforts have been excellent so far this game, but perhaps he's a little frustrated that his blocking experts have also blocked him in, although this is a wonderful block here playing Rabbik. Rabbik taking no back hooks and that C impossible to overlap in NWL. So that's going to dice this board up. Joey now needing to bingo 2 or through that C or with an I in the 7th position to have any shot. And I don't see one out of this rack for Joey, so he'll need probably to open another line as quick as possible, and probably need 2 bingos to catch back up in this game.
The C is so valuable when you're ahead as a defensive tile, knowing that it doesn't take backhooks. And that's one of the things I love about this NWL dictionary, having these tiles that have different sort of attributes to them. As Joey continues to play sort of the equity game, he scores nicely here, but at some point he's going to have to open a new lane because he's basically down just to through that C, or I guess ending in an O above patina. It's really getting dicey here.
Yeah, worst case scenario, definitely what we're thinking about. I'm looking at possible bingos Joey could have. The worst case scenarios would be a bingo to the C using the X, things like non-toxic or anorexic. LIN will not block those plays. But with the letters Josh has, it's hard to block those plays unless you're going to play off all of your vowels. I wouldn't be surprised to see a much longer play, something like elect or even select, come down through that C. It's going to score well enough that should Joey hit a fluke bingo, you'll still win the game. Josh going to do something similar here. He's going to play tells. I like this. Hold on to at least one vowel, stay flexible, and score enough that, hey, even if Joey bingo's down to that C, you're going to be in okay shape. Josh needs to avoid a VVX draw with 2 more consonants. Again, worst case scenario. But picking up even one vowel would be helpful for him. Dodging one or both of the V's would be great. And he has dodged 1 V, though he has pulled 5 consonants, as I thought. A little bit of flexibility still, as he did retain one of his vowels. And Joey's reluctance to open this board means Josh now, with VIN through the I in Rabbik, will completely slam this one shut unless Joey opens a second lane here. We've seen all game he hasn't done it, but it is crunch time now. One interesting consideration, maybe Joey can play ROT to the T in Patinud. ROT only has a T as a front hook with the unseen pool. This is a similar play. ROLL is going to set up his T. He's got the final one, leaving 1 in the bag for Josh. And maybe Joey, if he can catch Josh with no vowels, Josh will be unable to block. Yeah, all of that correct. Josh with numerous 100% wins though. Vex, Vox, even a play like Venom blocking Veronica will actually outrun bingos like Veritrin atop. So Josh definitely going to win this game. We will try to bring post-game banter, get our live mic from over the board going. I don't know with the stakes that these players are willing to do a post-mortem, or if they need to just walk around. Joey, I'm sure, with a lot to shake off in this game, as he was out bingoed 3-0 or perhaps 3-1, pending Josh's next play. But we'll certainly try. I'm also not sure how much time these players are going to want to take between games. As Josh putting down Versin here. So he is blocking the Veronica anoretic plays. This is one of many plays that wins 100% of the times, although in this iteration will give up the bingo at the top of Veritrin. Veritrin not going to win the game for Joey, but will make things close and respectable.
Yeah, he saw there was 2 bingos to the C, 1 through the R, and so he decided to block this lane. It didn't work out for him, but he still was able to handle this bingo here and still hang on to his lead. So Josh will have to draw that last tile out of the bag just to give the points directly to Joey. He'll shrug it off. Congrats. He's going to challenge. Okay, Veritrin, I think it's a type of dye or it's something chemical related. I looked it up somewhat recently, interestingly enough.
A poisonous mixture of alkaloid, so it will come back acceptable. Oh, Josh's clock is running. That should have been stopped. Joey also should not have pressed it. Josh will win by 11 after this play. I don't know what's going to happen director-wise with this clock penalty, but Josh to win by 11 before any overtime penalty. I don't know if the clock runs down to a minute or more if Josh actually loses this game, but
well, I mean, now it's over because they flipped the tiles up on the board, and we had announced that yesterday on stream that once the tiles have been placed up, that ends the game. I think that would supersede the clock. I don't think
let's cut to the overhead mic real quick and hear what these players have to say.
Ahead.
Yeah.
Was the X the last letter?
No, the O. So Veronica and Anoretic are likelier. And Veronica's pretty substantial, but I mean, maybe. I don't know. I think it's still better for spread to do this. I don't know. Maybe just vexed. Yeah, I don't think anything fits on top. Like, unless I just flat out missed a 7 with this, but I looked very, very hard. And I've done that before. I didn't see Veritrin. I only saw interior.
I was hoping you had both of these, maybe. The first 2 letters I saw were, well, I had retina for my first 6 letters, and then the V was the 7th letter, so.
Okay. Yeah, I misplayed that.
Probably.
So, with this opening rack...
I assume versing is good.
Yeah. With this opening rack, I could maybe exchange.
Huh.
That's maybe what Kenji would do. I don't think...
Yeah.
I don't think it ever makes
I'm
sense.
glad you didn't, because I had QU with Knight, so.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I don't think it really makes sense, though, because it gives you a free turn to do whatever. I don't know. It's interesting. And opening with the double blank bingo is always intimidating.
Yeah, right.
First tile I saw was the blank.
Yeah.
Pretty ridiculous.